Hey, what's up, gamers? If you're anything like me, you love getting completely lost in a game where every moment feels like an epic journey. So stick around because today we're diving into some incredible single player experiences that will keep you hooked for well over 100 hours. These are the games where every decision feels monumental and every encounter could be your last. Let's get started. Let's start with Bloodborne. Now, if you haven't ventured into the nightmarish world of Yharnam, you're in for a wild ride. This game is not just about beating enemies to a pulp. It's about mastering a world that wants nothing more than to tear you apart. The gothic horror setting, combined with some of the most rewarding combat you'll ever experience, makes Bloodborne an absolute must-play. The adrenaline rush you get from dodging an enemy's strike by a hair and countering with a visceral attack? That's the kind of thrill that keeps you coming back, again and again, even after 100 hours. The lore is cryptic, and uncovering the story is like piecing together a twisted puzzle, one that stays with you long after the credits roll. I remember the first time I faced off against Father Gascoigne. The sheer intensity of that battle had my heart racing, and when I finally emerged victorious, it felt like I had just conquered a monumental challenge. The sense of accomplishment is indescribable, and that's what makes Bloodborne so special. It pushes you to your limits, but it also rewards you in ways few other games can. Now let's switch gears to something a bit different, but equally engaging. Red Dead Redemption 2. This game is a masterpiece of storytelling. With a world so immersive, you can almost smell the gunpowder and feel the sun beating down on your back. Arthur Morgan's journey is one of loyalty, betrayal, and redemption, all set against the backdrop of a dying Wild West. Every inch of this world is brimming with life, from the bustling towns to the quiet, serene wilderness. The attention to detail is staggering. Watching the snow crunch underfoot, the light filtering through trees, or just sitting around a campfire listening to your gang swap stories. And then there's the story, an epic, heart-wrenching tale that you can't help but get lost in. Trust me, you'll want to savor every moment of it. I'll never forget the first time I rode through the open plains, with the sun setting on the horizon and Arthur humming a tune to himself. It was one of those rare gaming moments where everything just clicks, and you're completely transported into another world. The bond you develop with Arthur and his gang is something truly special, making the game's emotional highs and lows hit that much harder. Moving on to Baldur's Gate 3, this game is an absolute behemoth when it comes to content. If you're a fan of deep, narrative-driven RPGs with a heavy dose of strategy, then this one's for you. The character customization alone is enough to keep you tinkering for hours, but it's the branching storylines and moral dilemmas that really pull you in. Every choice matters, and the game isn't shy about throwing some real curveballs your way. The world is rich with lore, and the turn-based combat is challenging yet incredibly satisfying. Whether you're battling mind flayers or forging unlikely alliances, every playthrough feels unique, offering something new to discover even after 100 hours. I remember one particularly tense moment where I had to decide between saving a companion or sacrificing them for the greater good. It was a gut-wrenching choice, and the consequences of that decision rippled through the rest of my playthrough. Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't just give you a story, it gives you your story, one that feels uniquely yours because of the choices you make along the way. And then we have Cyberpunk 2077. Despite its rocky launch, there's no denying that the world of Night City is something truly special. This game is a visual feast, with neon-drenched streets, towering skyscrapers, and a level of detail that's just insane. But it's not just about the looks. The narrative here is deep and multi-layered, exploring themes of identity, power, and what it means to be human in a world dominated by technology. V's journey through this dystopian future is filled with memorable characters, thrilling action, and enough side quests to keep you busy for days on end. And with the updates and expansions that have come since launch, now's the perfect time to dive back into this sprawling world. What really struck me about Cyberpunk was how it manages to weave together so many different narrative threads, all while keeping you deeply invested in the fate of its characters. One moment, you're pulling off a high-octane heist. The next, you're having a quiet, introspective conversation with a character who feels as real as anyone you've met in real life. It's these moments of contrast, of high stakes and personal connection, that makes Cyberpunk a game that's hard to put down. Speaking of sprawling worlds, Days Gone offers a post-apocalyptic setting that feels both familiar and fresh. As Deacon St. John, you'll be navigating a world overrun by freakers, trying to survive while dealing with the emotional toll of loss and regret. The open-world environment is vast, with dynamic weather and day-night cycles that can dramatically change how you approach situations. Riding through the desolate roads on your bike, scavenging for supplies, and taking on hordes of freakers, there's a constant tension that keeps you on edge. But what really sets this game apart is the story. It's a deeply personal tale of survival and hope, and it's easy to get emotionally invested in Deacon's struggle. I still remember the first time I came face to face with a horde of freakers. It was terrifying, exhilarating, and utterly unforgettable. But it's not just the action that sticks with you. It's the quiet moments too, like when Deacon reminisces about his lost love, or shares a moment of camaraderie with his friend Boozer. Days Gone is a game that wears its heart on its sleeve, and that's what makes it so compelling.
I didn't plan on this, goddammit!
Next up, Dragon Age Inquisition. This game is a love letter to fans of epic fantasy. The world of Thetis is teetering on the brink of chaos, and it's up to you to lead the Inquisition and set things right. The scope of this game is massive, with huge open areas to explore, each filled with quests, secrets, and monsters to slay. The combat is tactical and engaging, but it's the characters that really steal the show. The relationships you build with your companions, the tough decisions you make, and the impact they have on the world, it all adds up to an experience that feels both personal and epic. And let's not forget the jaw-dropping visuals, from the windswept deserts to the lush forests. This is a world you'll want to explore every inch of. I can still remember the first time I stepped into the hinterlands, overwhelmed by the sheer size of the area and the number of things to do. But as I got to know my companions, each with their own rich backstories and complex personalities, I realized that the heart of the game lies in these relationships. Whether it's the witty banter between characters or the emotional depth of their personal quests, Dragon Age Inquisition makes you care deeply about your allies and the fate of the world you're trying to save. Now, if you're looking for something with a bit of a retro vibe, but with modern sensibilities, look no further than Fallout New Vegas. This game is all about choice and consequence, set in a post-apocalyptic world that's as harsh as it is fascinating. The Mojave Wasteland is your playground, and how you navigate its dangers is entirely up to you. Whether you want to be a hero, a villain, or something in between, the game gives you the freedom to shape your own story. The dialogue is sharp, the characters are memorable, and the world is packed with factions, each with its own agenda. And with multiple endings, there's plenty of incentive to replay and see how different choices play out. One of the moments that sticks with me is deciding whether to side with Mr. House, the New California Republic, or go it alone with Yes Man. Each choice leads to drastically different outcomes, and the weight of those decisions adds a layer of tension to every conversation and action. The way Fallout New Vegas handles player agency is nothing short of brilliant, making you feel like you're truly shaping the future of the wasteland with every move you make. For something a little more fast-paced and action-packed, Hades is an absolute must-play. This rogue-like dungeon crawler is a masterclass in game design, with tight, responsive controls and a story that unfolds beautifully the more you play. Each run through the underworld is different, with randomly generated rooms, enemies, and rewards that keep the gameplay fresh. But it's the story of Zagreus, the rebellious son of Hades, that really hooks you. The dialogue is witty, the characters are full of personality, and the art style is just gorgeous. Even after dozens of hours, the game keeps surprising you, offering new challenges and narrative threads to unravel. I remember the first time I finally escaped the underworld, only to be met with an unexpected twist that made me want to dive right back in. The The feeling of mastering a new weapon or unlocking a new boon combination that perfectly complements your playstyle is incredibly satisfying. And the relationships you build with the gods, each with their own distinct personalities and motivations, add an emotional depth that keeps you coming back for just one more run. And then there's Grand Theft Auto 5. This game needs no introduction, but if you've somehow missed out on it, now's the time to dive in. The sprawling city of Los Santos is a living, breathing world full of possibilities. Whether you're pulling off heists, cruising down the freeway, or just causing mayhem, there's always something to do. The story is a wild ride, following three very different protagonists whose lives intertwine in ways that are both hilarious and tragic. The attention to detail is astounding, and the sheer amount of content, both in the single-player campaign and online, ensures that you'll never run out of things to do. One of my favorite moments was switching between Michael, Franklin, and Trevor during a heist mission, each character bringing their own unique skills and perspectives to the table. The way the game seamlessly transitions between these characters adds a dynamic quality to the storytelling that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Whether you're planning the perfect heist or just exploring the city, GTA 5 offers an experience that's as varied as it is engaging. Finally, we have Death Stranding. This game is unlike anything else out there, and it's definitely not for everyone. But if you're willing to embrace its slower pace and unique mechanics, you'll find an experience that's deeply rewarding. As Sam Porter Bridges, you're tasked with reconnecting a fractured America, one delivery at a time. It's a game about loneliness, connection, and the lengths we'll go to for the people we care about. The world is hauntingly beautiful, with stunning landscapes that range from desolate plains to towering mountains. And the story, while enigmatic, is incredibly moving, with performances that will stay with you long after the game is over. I'll never forget the sense of solitude as I trudged across a barren landscape, only to crest a hill and see the flickering lights of a city in the distance, a beacon of hope in an otherwise bleak world. The game's emphasis on building connections, both literal and figurative, creates a sense of purpose that drives you to keep moving forward, even when the journey is tough. Death Stranding is a game that challenges you to think differently about what a video game can be, and it's an experience that stays with you long after the final credits roll. So there you have it. 10 incredible single-player games that will keep you hooked for over 100 hours. Each of these games offers something special, whether it's a gripping story, deep mechanics, or a world that's just begging to be explored. If you're looking for games that will truly immerse you, these are the ones to check out. Trust me, your next gaming obsession is right here on this list. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.